Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, cartoon crew. Good morning. This is Saturday Morning Cartoons, and I'm one of the co-hosts, Mark B. Lee, here with Saturday Morning Cartoons, where each and every weekend, every Saturday, we discuss things about our past watching cartoons. The youngsters that we were, the preteens that we were, the peewees that we were, watching things such as Tom and Jerry, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, and all of the above. Welcome, and along with I usually say my lovely co-host first, Rosemary Rose, but that is not Rosemary Rose. That is Jerome Connor. Rose is at a convention today, SteamCon, I do believe, down in South Florida. She's attending a convention down there, and it's just Boys Day. And if you think that all you're going to see is chick stuff because it's boys, because we got the clubhouse and Darla is not allowed in, no, you're wrong. We're not going to do that to you. We're not chauvinistic or anything like that, but we do enjoy beautiful women, pretty women, the whole 9 yards, as well as the lovely Mary here. And where's Mike? He's not a pretty woman, but how you been, Jerome? What's going on, dude?
Oh, it was good. Last night's show was great.
We had a great time last night.
Yeah, and it was so good. I went out and got myself some Krispy Kreme donuts for breakfast this morning.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yep, my diabetes is not going to like me, but you know what? If you don't have one every once in a while, what's the point of living? You know.
As a diabetic, my boss takes advantage of that.
I know.
he walks in with Krispy Kreme, and you guys know his future or his past with Tootsie Rolls and me and things of that nature. And he does that stuff on purpose. I seriously think I'm trying to be assassinated. I'm like Caesar right now, somebody, here, Mark, have a donut.
Mark,
going to a diabetic.
Mark,
would you believe, Jerome?
Mark, beware the Ides of March.
Yes, beware the eyes of Mark, because it'll be rolling back in his head. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to the reminder of Rose last night, because I am a horrible, horrible record keeper when it comes to stuff like that. This is our 5th year, okay? Or we've gone through our 5th year. Saturday Morning Cartoons. We've been doing this. Good God. Remember the early days, Jerome?
Oh, do I? I mean, for all of their technical problems, they were fun. We had a lot of fun, in those early days too.
We were on another streaming service that I signed up for, and there were so many technical glitches in that, whether we were knocked off, whether we can't hear somebody, or the whole 9 yards. Much like now, but it started to become a regular staple with Saturday Morning Cartoon Show, where it is not a good show unless something goes wrong at least once.
Yeah, if there wasn't a technical foul up somewhere, it wasn't a great show.
Yeah, and this is what we pride ourselves on. Oh, Joe, buddy boy, I see Joe popped in. Joe. Hey, brother, how you doing? There's my brother Joe.
And the funny thing is we've kind of gone back around the circle, because when I started, I was in my bedroom, either on my cell phone or on the laptop on my bed doing this.
And where was Rose? And where was Rose?
In her car, which was amazing. She was on her because she would hold up her phone, right? And you could sometimes catch along the edges of this thing. You could catch the steering wheel, okay?
Yeah.
And she would have to turn on the car and put the phone right in front of the air conditioner because her battery was getting hot.
And the reason she did that is because she got the best internet reception
outside her house,
phone rather than the internet in her house.
And she also didn't have a laptop at the time.
Yep, didn't have a laptop at the time, so it was kind of funky when I asked these guys way back when to join me on doing a show on Saturday morning cartoons, because I have such a love for Saturday morning cartoons, guys. It's amazing. You think the older you get, things would just kind of wear out. You wouldn't think about them anymore. You didn't engage with certain things anymore. In my brain, it was Saturday morning cartoons, and I remember all these things so well that it keeps me young. Someone, a medical professional yesterday, literally said that, Mark, you're in great shape. You're in fantastic shape for your age. And I'm like, oh my God, that means I'm surrounded by old people.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Five years ago, Gwen was 5, right?
Yeah.
And just starting kindergarten.
Wow.
God, I blanked on Rose's daughter's name.
Rachel.
Rachel was just graduating high school.
Is amazing.
She hadn't, and we'd seen both of these kids grow up more. So
I think my biggest fear was running out of cartoons to talk about.
Oh, heck no. We're never going to have, I mean, we've recycled a couple of them because there's always something new to discover.
Sure. Out of the standard 10 clips that we do on cartoons, whether it's an entire show or whether it's a number of various shows based on, you did something on vehicles, I think.
Yes, I did.
And that was
a copy of yours.
That was an idea I would have never thought. What's that? That was mine? That wasn't mine.
You did the first one. I did the second one.
We did two? Okay.
Yes.
All right. See? But it was really an idea.
How many shows have we done on Scooby-Doo?
Not enough.
Yeah.
But
that's my point, though. It's always something new.
Right. And we all have our favorites and our go-to shows that we can continually talk about for another 5 years, Johnny Quest. And I personally am just happy that in the 5 years that we've been doing this show, that we've had content. We've brought on people behind the scenes, support teams that have praised us with the photo collection, ideas, even co-hosts. Even our behind the scene teams that end up being co-hosts on the show, We
got some pros to come on the show.
Yep, we got pros and more pros to come in the future, and along with Classic Television SmackDown, we just it's amazing. I can see us doing this up until the day we die. I'll be laying on the hospital bed or in what's that place called?
Hospice.
The hospice, yeah. Hospice.
No, see, I figure you're gonna do a show. You're gonna have like IVs sticking in both arms. You're gonna hear the beeping noise in the background, and just as we end, that's when you're gonna go flatline.
There is nothing that could top Johnny Quest, and don't you get off my lawn. I can just see that for the next 5. So hopefully the next 5 years we'll have Courageous Cat, Minute Mouse, Mighty Mouse, Heckle and Jekyll. Yeah, the early day. Hey, by the way, MeTV has replaced. What did they replace? I can't remember what they placed, but they played Woody Woodpecker in one of their hour slots.
Yeah.
It's still Tom and Jerry. It's still Popeye that comes first. Tom and Jerry and Woody Woodpecker. I can't remember what Woody Woodpecker replaced in that third hour, but
was it Bugs?
Yes, it should. Fantastic. Good job. It was Bugs Bunny. So funny part.
And those nice men in their white jackets with the extra long sleeves for us.
Yeah, I would have spray painted all those jackets, put stripes, black stripes on them, and Velma still looks good, great. Hello to the lovely Cheryl.
If I'm going to the funny farm, I'm going to dress up like the Joker.
Oh, why be serious?
Exactly.
See what I did there? Yeah. One of our other content creators. What? Hold on for a sec. I want to say hello to Cheryl. Cheryl's one of our content creators, but she works. It's Halloween season for her, and she gets dressed up as something totally, hideous. I've seen her I do you, Cheryl. But anyway, so I've seen where Cheryl dresses up as during this season of Halloween. So on the weekends, Definitely not in the daytime. What are you doing up anyway? Didn't you have a haunt last night?
I thought she did too.
Yeah.
But
Well,
hey, I do want to bring up a sad note though that happened recently.
Oh, really? On this upper that we're going through right now?
No, because I want it to be a celebration of the person.
Okay, go for it.
We lost Arlene Sarkin.
Yes.
Okay?
Arlene Sarkin, yes.
Arlene Sarkin was in the inspiration and the voice of Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Okay. And I got to tell you, nobody does Harley Quinn better than her. I don't care who's doing it currently. She was it.
The Bronx or Brooklyn accent, the ditty giddy kind of blonde bimbo scenario.
And this is a celebration of her because she was just an inspiration, and she was in on the soap operas. Okay.
I understand that. Yeah, I heard that too. Yeah.
And somebody asked her what her favorite role was, and you're gonna love this, Mark. You of all people will love this. She said she loved Harley the best, and somebody said why. And she went into a little bit about the characterization and how it was the challenge to make a character because with just your voice versus whatever. And then she said, but the real reason is I don't have to worry about hair and makeup. I can show up in my fuzz. She goes, I can show up in my fuzzy bunny slippers with my hair in curlers and it don't matter.
and that's exactly the way I feel about it doing these shows. I think streaming services, this is a streaming service. I think streaming services basically came to the forefront during COVID. When people basically didn't want to go to work anymore and they pretty much said, hey, I don't want to get out of my pajamas. I mean, why do I need a Zoom meeting? Okay, well, I only need to dress the upper half of me.
Pants were optional.
Awesome. All right, let's get on to the show. What is your show today, sir?
Okay, so as you know, we all got up. We would run downstairs, turn on the TV, fiddle with the rabbit ears to get the best signal, grab a bowl of cereal or maybe just a bag of Pop-Tarts. Sit down, lay down, whatever you had to. If you lay down in the shag rug, you'd sink really deep and almost couldn't come out. But we watched all these wonderful shows. But between these shows, they had these commercials. And the commercials originally, before the parents groups got involved, were for either really cool movies we all wanted to see, Star Wars, or it was games, toys. Now, we've done some of these toys, but we've never really focused on the board games. Now, I'll be honest, when I was doing the research, I didn't do all board games. There's a couple of non-board games in here, but just because they're really cool toys.
Sure.
But I grew up in New England, and New England is notorious for snowstorms. And on snow days, you can't really go out because, it plows and it's still snowing and all that. So what do? Your parents grab a couple of boxes of games, you sit at the kitchen table, and you play board games all day. I got really good at a couple of them. So we're going to talk about some of these games. Some of these games are also great in travel form because, you take a trip to go see your grandparents and you're bored in the car. And there's a couple of games that you could have played that were in the car. So we're going to take a look at these and see how many people can actually remember some of these. Now, I will be honest, Mark, there was a game that I was looking for, could not find the commercial for it.
And what game was that?
That was called King Oil. If anybody can find the commercial, send it to me. There's lots of...
This sounds like some sort of game you would see the Venture Brothers playing or something like that. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It was basically a game. You buy a parcel of land on this board, and you take this little thing about this big, and you would stick it into the holes. And underneath it, there were 3 different discs, and it would determine whether or not you got a gusher or no oil at all.
Okay, so it was a Monopoly ripoff.
Yeah, kind of a Monopoly, but you did a couple of other things to it. There was also a little bit of a risk angle to it, but it was a fun, silly, stupid game. My father got it because he was intrigued by it. We played it about a dozen times, and then we got bored with it.
That's because you were covered in oil.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But there's lots of games describing it, how it works, how it plays, and all that. But the original commercial that got people excited about it, can't find it anywhere.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Oh, well, another show. You may find it soon.
Yeah, I'm going to keep trying. And if anybody in the cartoon crew can find it, send me the link. Okay.
All right.
So let's start with the the beginning. Let me pull up my list here. Where's my list?
Okay, I have it. You can say, you want to talk about it first, or you want me to play
No. I wanted you to run the commercials because it's an interesting commercial and there's history behind it.
All right, here we go.
Here at the bank, we've discovered a fascinating pastime. Hangman. Each player puts a word here. Wrong window. Then they try to guess each other's words. L?
Nope. G?
No. Endorse it. Q?
R.
Right. A?
Nope. L?
No. N. Wrong bank. If you have a little time to kill, get.
Hangman! I won!
I can't play with these interruptions. Hangman from Milton Bradley.
Okay, Vincent Price really needed a job.
Well, during the 1970s, Vincent Price sold a ton of things. One of my favorites was the shrunken head apples that he would do.
Oh.
Okay. And you can't really find a commercial for that anywhere either. But this one had a lot of, if you notice, he's hanging on to the noose on the scaffolding here. This was basically the game version of the pen and paper game of Hangman that's been around for God knows how long. But Vincent Price sold a ton of toys and games and other things. I don't know if it's because his career was going down. He hadn't done Thriller yet with Michael Jackson. But Vincent Price was an interesting character. He did a lot of other, things too.
Yeah.
But Hangman was just a simple game, and it sold quite well.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
All right. With Milton Bradley being basically the god of all, table toys and things of that nature, this would have been a great show for Mark Street to jump in on. And I actually sent them a link since he's with Dice Tower and those things. He may have some additional information you may have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was kind of hoping he might join us.
Yeah. What else you got?
Okay. So the next one, whoops, hang on a minute here. I hit the wrong button. Okay, go ahead. This is a very obscure toy game from 1974 by the Parker Brothers. Okay, so go ahead and run clip number 2.
Clip number 2, sir. Clip number 2. As I scan down on my rolly ball here. Here we go.
Payday! I get $325.
Not enough. You owe $600 on your bill.
Funny things happen when you play Payday, the funny money game from Parker Brothers.
I gotta buy a dress for the prom?
You play on a case. Some days it's bad news.
My poor long-lost aunt.
Some days, good news.
She left me $500.
Make deals, pay bills, win the lottery on your way to...
Payday!
Payday. That's the name of the game.
Okay.
I actually remember this one.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing is it's basically a calendar. Okay, you get paid every week, and you go back and forth, and you can play up to 12 months. So you play a year. I gotta be honest. First couple of times, great game. After a while, it is boring as hell.
Yeah,
okay,
it sounds like it.
Same thing. But the first year that it came out in '74, this game sold more than Monopoly.
What? No way.
This is a huge success in '74. Okay.
God.
Yeah.
This is an early way of teaching your kid to go out and get a job.
Well, not only go out and get a job, but to pay his bills.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I wish some of the kids that I deal with today had played this because they're deeper in debt than I am.
Yeah, most kids today don't even know how to write a check. So
exactly.
This is
this was a great game. Definitely taught my brother and me how to handle our monies and make sure we pay our bills on time. I think my brother took it to heart because he later went on to become an accountant. So
Kill all accountants. Oh, that's lawyers. Never mind.
Yeah. But this was an interesting game. Like I said, it was an interesting game for teaching monetary policy and stuff like that. So
sure.
All right, go ahead and run the next one. I had this next game and loved it.
Let me see.
Number 3.
Yeah. No, I'm going. Oh, yes, of course. Who couldn't love this one? Here we go.
It's the Star Wars electronic laser battle game. Battery not included.
It's set to Sonic Speed 3.
Ready? Go! You can play it alone or with a friend. If you hit your buttons first, you move yourself forward. Or your opponent backward. But if you jump the signal, it's a flash ahead for the other guy. First to light up Death Star wins.
Yay, I win!
The Star Wars electronic laser battle game. It's a game with lights and sounds, new from Kenner's Star Wars collection.
Okay, this game was about this long and about that thin. It was the cheesiest, by today's standards, the weakest electronics games you've ever played. It was a lot of fun, but it was basically if you had a faster reaction time, you'd win. I constantly beat my brother at it, but it was a lot of fun.
Okay, so I'm an adult in the next room, okay, trying to watch Wild World of Sports, the thrill of victory, the agony of you-know-what. And I think I would have ran into the next room, committed mass killings of all of my family members, okay, only because of that damn noise.
Now, the funny thing was at my house, my dad tried to play it with me and could not understand the concept of the game.
Okay.
Okay. Was not a Star Wars fan, obviously, but it just was weird. This was a definitely a game that we got. It one was the lasers, the others was the torpedo, and it was to try to blow up the Death Star. Who got there first? That sort of thing. And it was just I played it for about a year and a half, 2 years before I had to move, and it got in the trash, as in because the batteries. Because remember, back in the 70s, you had to change batteries real fast every so often because they would explode or leak or whatever.
And back then, batteries were the size of knocking out a mugger running at a distance.
Yeah.
You stole my handbag. Hold on, lady. So that was cool.
Yeah, this was Christmas of 1977.
Wow.
Okay. So
wait a minute. Christmas of 1977. Star Wars just came out in May, that earlier May.
Yep. A lot of other games also came out at the same time. The action figures, which we've talked about in the past, would take another 3 months before they were released, but you would get the stand up for the background and a little certificate saying you were going to get them if you bought them and mailed in the stuff. Remember that?
God. Yeah. Well, for you and I, people that lived up north, man, the best thing about massive snowstorms, schools being shut down, you had all of these games you pull out and play.
Oh, so. we had like a bookshelf of them. We used to call it Game Central.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, I missed that. I haven't played a good table game in freaking in history. I don't know.
I played a lot of table games with some friends of mine about 10 years ago, but they were some really tough ones that would take all night to play.
Brain farting. A lot of board games. Clue.
Of
course, Monopoly.
I played one called Titan, it took us like 10 hours to complete the game. But there was Clue, there was Monopoly, Risk, yes. Don't play a game called Diplomacy if you want to keep your friends.
Yeah, well, I remember Sorry.
Yeah, Trouble.
Sorry a lot. Yeah. Mousetrap.
Yeah.
All right, let me stop because I might hit on something you're about to show. So go ahead.
Okay, so the next one came out in 77. Also, is an electronic sub game. Okay, early days of the computers in solid state electronics. It had an electronic display which would give you like data, and then below it was a grid pattern that you would use like a grease pencil to mark. So go ahead and put down the next one, which is number
4.
This computer is the brain behind an extraordinary new game from Parker Brothers, codename Sector. You use the computer to track down an unseen sub. The sub uses the computer to escape and counterattack. Your mission: be the first ship to sink the enemy sub.
Range 10, speed 9, firing range. Depth 3, fire. All right.
Codename Sector, the board game where you match wits with a computer.
Now,
this isn't Cold War.
My dad loved this game.
Okay? I guess so, man.
This was a great game. It was very much you had to sort of plot out where you thought the sub was, and where your ship was, because you also had to enter where you were moving, which was direction, speed, and your current location. And then it would tell you some information where the sonar would say, like, The sub we've got a sonar hit 15 squares away in the northeast. No, Mike, this wasn't before Battleship. Battleship was way back what they used to call a pen and paper game. And the Battleship we know actually came out in the 50s. The ones you're thinking of is Electronic Battleship, and Electronic Battleship came out at about the same time as Codename Sector.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, like I said, this one was interesting. You can see that the crayons were were kind of grease pencils, and this, if you ever had a chance to play this, was a very interesting and really hard kind of game.
Wait a minute, did this have like a cellophane or a plastic covering over it, much like not Etch-a-Sketch, but there was, you know how you lift the cellophane up to
no. You had
No?
you wrote on it, and then you had to take a paper towel to wipe down the grease.
Oh, really? Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I could spend hours playing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think I was playing with my Barbie back then. So, ooh, I got to wash my mouth out. Oh my God.
So yeah, this I really like this game. It kind of got me into electronics, because I wanted to know how it worked and everything else.
I wonder how much these games cost back then.
They were pretty expensive for at the time. Some of them ran from $20 to $35, and that was a lot of money.
Good grief. Okay.
Yeah, and that was a lot of money back in ye old day.
Yeah, I was thinking more of the $15 range, but wow.
Yeah, it depends on the game, you know. Things like Hangman was a lot cheaper than, say, the Star Wars or Codename Sector because of the electronics and stuff.
Yeah,
Gotcha. But this also came out in '77, and I can tell you right now, both the Star Wars and the Codename Sector I got for Christmas.
Wow, boy, you had rich parents then.
No, that was it. That's all I got for Christmas that year.
Unlike Joe, they loved you.
No, I lived on a military base, so there wasn't a lot of choices of toys.
Got it.
Yeah, at the base store.
All right, so, doing pretty good here.
All right, let's go with number 5.
Number 5, which if it is the classic, I played this religiously. So here we go.
Okay.
Answer the question, comrade, if you please. What was Julius Marx more commonly known as? Karl? No. Groucho.
Gentlemen, enough, please. The Star Wars question. Who was Luke Skywalker's father?
Trivial Pursuit, 6,000 questions of no vital importance whatsoever. From Selchow and Ryder.
Yes.
Okay. So this is considered one of the great games of all time.
Of all time. Right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
It was a defining game of the 1980s. Okay.
Yeah.
This game was everywhere in the 1980s. Okay. There was Trivia Pursuit tournaments, which I was in on, and I failed because I didn't know the answer to Goldfinger, to the car that Bond used in Goldfinger, which was an Aston Martin DB3.
Sorry, keep going.
But I mean, just for millennial, for kids our age, unless like there were a lot of Watergate questions in there, and my folks were able to do this. But I couldn't do the sports questions.
What celebrity has the weird looking nose? Bob Hope? No, Richard Nixon.
Jimmy Durante.
Yeah.
But
I love Trivia Pursuit.
Yeah, and they could not keep the original game, what they called the Genesis edition, on the shelves. These things were selling out like crazy. They were great at parties. Adults would be like boozing it up big time doing this game. College students, oh my God, did we play it hard in college? I lost a girlfriend because of it.
Well, you should have let her win. Simple.
Yeah, no, I'm too competitive for that.
See, that's why you lost her. Okay,
yeah, exactly. But this was. I mean, like I said, this game was one of those defining things of the 1980s. When they talk about the 80s, Trivia Pursuit always seems to come up.
Yeah. It is the best game to invite your neighbors over to your house for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this started its own conversations. You didn't have to make up stuff. So, how's your kid? How's your son doing in school? The whole 9 yards. Who blew up Taiwan? You know, stuff like that. You know, it's the perfect game.
You know, what's interesting was, yeah, and they tried to make a game show out of it.
I think, yes, I do remember the game
and it was a horrible game show because there was none of that feel of you sitting around the table drinking a wine or some beers or whatever, playing it. You know?
Yeah. Much like what we do on Classic Television SmackDown, where and on this show as well, where we did Jeopardy. I want to try and do a show like on Password or Match Game or all the classic kind of shows that we can engage in, because I just love games.
If we do Match Game, can I be Richard Dawson and do all the naughty words?
No, because you're not kissing anybody, and I know this Family Feud.
No, that's Family Feud. Yeah,
Family Feud. You said Richard Dawson. That's the only first thing came in my mind. It wasn't even Hogan's Heroes.
I'm not being Joanne Worley.
Thank God I've seen your leg. So yes, don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay, so you obviously played this in college too.
Oh my God, religiously.
Okay, so go ahead and run clip number 6.
Okay, I have no idea what this is.
Oh, this is a great game. I love this game.
Remember our first date?
Playing Mastermind.
Mastermind. Love breaking your code.
Sly devil, it only took you 4 moves.
I was brilliant.
You were masterful.
Okay, ready?
Now?
Think of it. 7 days and nights of Mastermind.
Mastermind. Games of cunning and logic from Invicta.
I used to win.
That was before we were married, Harold.
When did we start inserting sexual innuendo into things like right now, like this, games?
I don't know. But okay, so this was interesting because this game has came out in 1970 by Invicta Plastics, which was a UK company. It was invented by this guy from Israel who was a postmaster.
Ooh.
Okay. It's what they call a basic code breaking. All right. It's one of those games that kids on more than one occasion can beat their parents. Okay. And I happen to have one right here.
Oh my God.
Okay.
When did you get that?
Yesterday.
Oh.
There was a book. Well, I love the game and I don't have one. And there's a bookstore down the road that's having a massive sale. It's called the Book Nook, Joe. Come up here into Marietta, $1 a book. Get up here. Okay. Where do you think I got those DVDs that I showed you last night?
Oh, from that bookstore? So you got it for a really good price then, huh?
Yeah, I did. And they have vinyl, DVDs, Blu-ray, whatever. You need to get up here, Joe. You and Jennifer.
Wow. So you're starting to get used to this Georgia life, huh?
Oh, you betcha. Now, what was interesting, that's the box I have right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's interesting was there was a travel edition, and basically you try to figure out, you know how Wordle it plays? You know, everybody played Wordle?
No, I'm an adult.
All right, Wordle is an online game that shows up on our social media every so often of people getting it. It's the same type of thing. Joe, it's called the Book Nook. Okay. So,
So Wordle, I've never played. I see it all the time. I don't understand what the hell you guys are doing when they say my count is this amount, this number, whatever. Strange. I don't get it.
Yeah, because and then somebody did a mathematical algorithm to show you how you can win it in like 4 moves. But what you have is on the left and the right side, you see the black and then the white ones. Those would tell you like, okay, you got X, like one of the pieces is in the right place in the right color. One of them is either just the right place or one of them is just the right color, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I agree with Brady here. You know, if I can't just avoid touching the sides with my tweezers and like Operation or something like that, I ain't playing something like this.
Well, this was actually a fairly good game, and it taught logic. Okay.
Okay.
You know, and it taught logic, and it taught you know, you had to sort of think out where things were and code breaking and all that. And it was a really good mental game. I loved it.
Huh. Okay. Nerd. Nerd.
Yeah, what's your
Nerd.
point? I take pride in my nerdiness.
Nerd.
Yep.
Nerd.
So, okay.
Okay, never heard of it.
All right. So let's go with the next one, number 7. This one is no longer being made. Now, there were several different versions of this commercial. One of them, which I did not include in here, also had Vincent Price doing an advertising.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
So,
What's that? Come on, let me see. What is it? It's Stay Alive, the survival game. Let's play. Last one with the marble on the board wins. Your turn. Move a lever. I'm gonna block that strategy. I'm out. Me too. Uh-oh. I win. I'm a sole survivor.
Stay Alive, the survival game from Milton Bradley.
Knew this game well.
you know, we used to use that phrase, move a lever, all the time with some of my friends. This was a great game. It was not complicated at all. Very simple. I am surprised that it is not still in production.
There was such a catchphrase in that commercial that made me remember this so well, and that was, "I'm the sole survivor."
Yeah.
You know,
the Vincent Price one is he's basically talking about the game, and he goes, "I would tell you more about it." He goes, "But there's nobody left."
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, this was a great game. Yeah, a very Lord of the Flies, or better yet, more like a we're stuck on it. What was interesting is when I rewatched this commercial, I very much had a feel of the end of Jumanji.
Yes, and much like what Brady just said, a Lord of the Flies vibe to it, and you're right, that is kind of a Jumanji vibe to it, because it is a game, and of course in Jumanji they're playing a game.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something real quick.
At the end of the original one, these kids find Jumanji on a beach.
Did you like the original with Robin Williams, or did you like the remakes?
I liked them both. I think each of them had their own.
I'm kind of there too.
Vibe.
Yeah, I'm kind of there too. I actually like both Jumanjis. So yeah, that's cool.
But this was an interesting game. You could play it anywhere. There was really no real, it says ages 8 to adult. You, as a younger kid, I played it with kids that were 5 or 6.
You call it a younger kid? You say you as a younger kid.
Yeah. I'm still a child at heart. Where else would I be talking about Saturday morning cartoons or games like this?
That's a good answer. Okay.
But you didn't need to be you could be a lot older, a lot younger on this one to play this game. It wasn't that complicated.
Yeah. I still don't really know the basics of it. It's a board.
You put these marble colored marbles on little round holes in there.
Yeah.
And then you move a lever, and they if they make a hole, they'll drop down.
Oh.
And whoever's marble is the last one left,
they're the sole survivor.
Wins. Yeah. So,
how original.
It's a pretty simple game. Yeah. So.
All right, what else you got? You got another games, and guys, if you don't know what we're talking about right now, for those that are popping in, because I've seen our numbers are fluctuating in the positive realm here. Jerome is doing a segment on more games and toys. So with Saturday morning cartoons come games. So if you remember some of the games that he went through, and I'm looking at his list here, and he's not going to talk about my favorite one here, so I may cut his show short. As punishment, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about more games and toys, things you did. There is no easy bake ovens or no Barbies in this segment of this show. They have been banned. Okay.
No, we did those on a previous show. So if you want to go look at one of our previous shows,
well, let's just hope that no one of this crew does a Barbie show. Okay, because we will be having massive technical difficulties the entire time that show's running. So I'm just,
Kara's kind of looking at me like that. She's going to take that up as a challenge.
Yeah, well, I'm the same person I was when I was a kid too. I just pay bills now. That is correct. You have responsibilities, but you need to grow up. I don't know what you people are talking about. See, that's usually how children react. I don't understand, How about oh, Lord have mercy, Mike.
No. You can't do just an accessory show.
Is Ken an accessory?
Pretty much, he's an accessory to Barbie.
Oh wow! So we men are being used. Is that what you're saying? We're just a toy.
Yeah.
I'm hurt. I'm harmed. Show me more toys.
All right. So let me ask you this: how many of us have seen or even know of the phrase "putting a square peg in a round hole"?
Oh, absolutely. That's my head into a hat. Yes, I understand.
Now, have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
It's a great film. There's a scene in there where they're testing it and they got to put the circle into the circle and whatever.
Well, Planet of the Apes, when Zira had to perform in front of the professor or whatever while in the cage, it was a joke to her, but she wasn't allowed to speak.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, she wasn't allowed to reveal that they were speaking apes, and she was really just playing with the professor in these games, and that was in the games.
Yeah. Okay. So this next one takes it to another level, and we will discuss those on the other side. Go ahead and run this commercial.
When you're into perfection, keep on your toes. You have to be quick, cause here's how it goes. Push the plunger down, set the timer, fit the pieces in place. Don't be slow in perfection. You've gotta move on fast, or the pieces pop up before you put in the last. And that's perfection.
Perfection, complete with playing box, mechanical timer, and 25 geometric shapes from Lakeside.
In my world of enjoying the way things work, that game thrilled me because it popped all the crap up and it said, "Whoa, how'd they do that?" So that's
it was an interesting game. The one we just saw in the commercial was the second version of it. Okay. It's kind of like
electro lights. All right.
That's from Idiocracy.
Yeah, Idiocracy. Yeah, I kind of figured that. Yeah.
So the first game, you didn't push down the whole thing. There was a button in the middle, and you push down the plate, and then you put the stuff in the hole, and the plate would push everything out. But this was a better version. Now, the thing about Perfection was they actually used that game back in the 70s for certain job things. Back in the olden days, they would do how fast can you put the star into the star shape, whatever, for certain government jobs. And so when this came along, it was a lot easier for them to basically do the same thing. Now, I'll be honest, I did pretty good right up until I had to put the hexagon one and the octagon one because I, kept.
So how many are these pieces that you had to put in? How many?
25, I think.
Oh, good God. So each person got, that's the total for the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So do they?
So what it basically is you take the pieces, you put them on the table, you push down on it, you spin the timer, and you got a minute to put all these in there.
Yeah, I see. So you're working as a team?
Are you
working as a team?
No, it's individual.
Oh, you each take turns putting 25 pieces in. Oh.
Yeah. And the problem is not so much that, like the star shape's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
But you got to sometimes twist it,
Yeah.
Now, when they changed it to what we just saw, they got rid of one of the stars. They had a diamond-shaped star instead of the 5-point. And yes, it is a game of frustration, Cheryl. But if you play it enough times, you get really good. Okay. Now, there was a sequel to Perfection because Perfection sold really well.
And by the way, Demolition?
No. Perfection came out in 1973, by the way. Okay.
Wow. 73. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Now, there was another one called Super Perfection.
Oh, good God.
You got 2 minutes, and you had to take these pieces and put together the puzzle and put it on the board.
Oh, man.
And it was a 3D game. That was the one I never played because I could never get the pieces together, whatever. You take these it was 2 pieces for a block. You take them up, mix them up, you set it aside, start the 2-minute timer, and then you have to grab them, try to put them together, and then you put it in there. And I
Okay,
never saw anybody.
all I am envisioning right now is a raving mob of children stampeding towards Milton Bradley headquarters with sledgehammers all in their hands. You know? That's all I can see right now, just because of that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it was a really good game for hand-eye coordination. It was a good game for, spatial recognition. I mean, there was some real educational aspects to this game.
Sure, I can see that. Yeah.
So, but it was that one was a great snowstorm one because my dad, who might have had a few too many beers during the snowstorm, wasn't so great at this.
He was sticking the pieces in his ear, right?
No, but he couldn't get the some of them spun properly.
Yeah. Poor guy. Boy.
Okay.
You're coming up to my favorite, one of my favorites.
Okay, this one I'm going to tell people right now.
Yes.
This one came out in 1963.
Wow.
Yeah, and it hasn't really changed in the 60 odd years since it came out. So go ahead and run the commercial. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Great game, by the way.
This is Mousetrap, a game in which building the trap is half the fun. You roll the dice, move your mice, build the trap. But could this thing really catch a mouse? Let's watch. The Mousetrap game. It's from Ideal.
Okay. You know the best thing I loved about this game?
What's that?
Putting it together.
Well, that was part of the game.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest. I never played Mousetrap until I was like 23 or 24 years old.
Communist.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But the thing about Mousetrap was there was two issues. Was in the early versions, it was a really solid game. In the later versions, especially in the 1970s and into the 80s, it was cheaply made and they had pieces stuck to the edges. So the game, yeah, exactly. The game didn't always work. You had to sort of file off burrs or whatever. Sometimes the trap wouldn't come down, or like Mike said that he, who said that he couldn't get the, Terry said he couldn't get the diver.
I thought that was a tub.
Well, it's
yeah. Look at the picture, upper left.
It's a tub or a bucket, whatever you want to call it. Sometimes you just couldn't get it to do that. It had some real problems with quality control in the later days. Yeah. They took care of it in the 90s and the 2000s. The game is still being sold. Gameplay got changed a little slightly near the end of the game, but on a whole, it hasn't really changed in 60 years. And This is based off of a person if you don't know who it is, it's called Rube Goldberg.
Right, Rube Goldberg, of course.
Yeah, go look at Rube Goldberg up. Look at some of the funny contraptions he made, basically as comedy, and you can see where Mousetrap came from.
I know you don't have this in this segment, but do you remember it was a game where you had to literally build it, create it, whole 9 yards. Then you roll this marble down a track, a 2-lane, a 2-wire track or whatever, and it created a chain of reaction, much like dominoes.
Yeah. There was a lot of Rube Goldberg type of games like that.
I love those things, man. I just was crazy about them.
Yeah, and this was the very first one of those.
Wow.
And this game was a huge hit.
Sorry.
Yeah, this was a huge hit, and it was without a doubt, it was one of those you just loved it.
It was. It was a very, very popular game, and I honestly think it's because you're witnessing a series of reactions that you yourself created.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, what else can I do? Oh, let's try this, and it was just perfect.
But the sad part about this game, though, is that if you lost a piece, the game was useless.
Where's my mouse?
Well, I know a lot of people who would lose the ball, the steel ball.
Yeah. Yes. Which was dangerous,
Right. Or if one piece got broken, that was the end of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the one downside to this game.
Yeah. Hey, Terry over in Ireland, welcome once again, brother. Good to see you, team of Saturday Morning Cartoons. I have no idea what Screwball Scramble was, but
I'll have to look it up and see.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's interesting to know what kind of games the overseas folks get compared to ours. So that's cool. All right, Mousetrap, one of my favorite ones. Good job on that one.
So this next one is not really a game; it's more of a toy.
Oh, good.
Okay, but this one was because when I was doing research, it somehow came up on Google whenever I was looking for something. This one won huge awards, incredibly popular at the time in the when did it come out? Hang on a second here. This one came out in 1978 with the Mego Corporation.
I've never heard of this game.
Oh, I have, but I didn't.
Toy.
Yeah, go ahead and run the commercial. I think.
Yeah, let me take a look at this because the name doesn't hit me.
Yep.
This is 2XL. You can pretend it's a talking robot. Slip in a tape and the fun starts.
Do you know why the elephant was the last animal onto Noah's Ark?
You punch in an answer.
You are correct. You must be some kind of computer brain or something.
It's full of questions, answers, and jokes.
Over 25 2XL tapes are available from sports to comic book heroes to American history, each sold separately. 2XL comes with a starter tape of general information, an instruction booklet, and electric cord from Mego.
Nope. I think the rich people had this one.
No,
it definitely wasn't in my household.
This was actually showing up in schools, even. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Mego made special tapes just for school.
See, this is a brilliant concept, though. It's a talking Trivial Pursuit kind of game.
Yeah, it is. But notice the type of tape they put in there.
Yeah, I had 8 tracks in my car.
Yeah, you put in the wrong. If you put the wrong 8-track in, suddenly now you're getting trivia.
You start hearing the Osmonds.
Yeah, so this was an interesting toy. This won huge awards for being the educational level that it had on it. This was the first electronic 11. Yeah, I know. 8-track tapes. Now, this toy disappeared in around the early 80s, around 83 or so. Okay.
Yeah.
And in 92, the toy came back. Okay, another company started it, and instead of using 8 tracks, they used cassette tapes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess. It advanced. How long did you say this was out?
Let's see. This came out in 78, and the 8-track version ran until about 82, 83. But I do know that in 1992, another company picked it up and redesigned it so that it used cassette tapes instead of 8 tracks.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this game before.
And it was the basis of a game show called Pick Your Brain.
Really? See, I could see this being a $50 or $60 game. Man,
absolutely. This was probably a very expensive.
That's 5
game.
or 6 toys for me. So I mean, wow.
And you had to get other cassette tapes. Other 8 tracks.
And that's how you sell.
Could you see somebody like putting like a Fleetwood Mac tape in there?
Yes. Who was the lead singer for Fleetwood Mac? I'm only 8.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it was an interesting concept. I saw when I was doing the research, I saw this came up, and I had to think about it. If any of the kids that I knew had it, and none that I knew had it, but this toy was everywhere apparently.
It was?
From what I was reading.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It sold well. The fact that it was in the schools and they used as an educational toy.
Wow. That's
yeah.
amazing.
You should see the list of awards it won. It was amazing.
Hey man, we ain't had that in the hood. That's amazing. That's amazing.
All right. So the next toy or game is a toy also. This one came out in 1978, which I thought was interesting because I thought it came out earlier. Now, the original idea for it was in 1967, and it took almost 11 years for it to get to production. Okay.
Well-known toy here. I think everybody knew this toy.
But for those of us of a certain age, the fact that this toy only appeared in 78, we're going, it had to have been earlier than that.
Interesting.
So go ahead and run the clip.
If you want to win the game, you gotta take good aim and get the most marbles with your hippo. Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos. Hungry, Hungry Hippos.
Hungry, Hungry Hippos is the name of the game, and whoever hippo gets the most marbles wins.
Playing Hungry, Hungry Hippos. Hungry, Hungry Hippos.
I win!
Hungry, Hungry Hippos, new from Hasbro.
I remember this.
All right, the game is very simple for those who haven't played it. There's a circular
arena.
Oops, yep. Where on 4 different areas is the hippos. Okay, and it circles around, so you get a spiral down. You'll see on the left side of each hippo is a little black lever which pops a marble out into the arena. And the black lever on the back of the hippo pushes down, and all it does is it's a cam system where it pushes the head out, the head and neck out, and puts the head up to grab the ball and slide back into the hole so that you get it in your goal. Yeah, people got really competitive on this game. and what's interesting is in the late 70s and into the 80s, this was a popular drinking game in colleges. Okay, think about it. Think about some of the buddies that knock back a few, especially in like fraternities where you knock back a few beers and you start playing this.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. It is one of those. It's what is that? A dexterity test.
Yeah,
because you gotta use speed for one thing.
Yeah.
And screw the accuracy. You're only going in one direction, so it's just a matter of the coordination between the marble being spit out and you grabbing it at that time. So
yeah,
it was a great game. I happen to have
the version that we're
well.
seeing. Yeah, the version we're seeing right here is actually the second version. Okay,
which one? Sorry, my bad.
That's okay. The first version, the hippos were all the same color.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
The later versions, they started making the hippos multiple colors.
Well, that's because the damn game sold and they were able to afford more paint. Hey, why don't we change up for a sec?
Yeah, but this was, like I said, I've seen some, shall we say, drunken servicemen play this game.
Wow. See, now that's what's wrong with our country right now. Russians are invading Alaska, but the guys are sitting in their igloos playing Hungry Hippo.
No. They're going to offer the Russians some vodka and see if they can play it.
Oh, great. So now they're going to try and grab empty bottles now instead of little marbles.
Yeah.
Okay. Good job.
All right. So go ahead and run the clip for the next one. People already know what's next.
Hold on for a sec.
Yeah, it's a spammer.
It sure is. So screw you, spam. Go to hell.
Okay, run the next one.
Yes. Where am I? Oh, yes. This is on my high list of favorite games, and I already mentioned it before. So there we go.
It's my turn to operate. Operate? Butterfingers.
It's Operation the Wacky Doctor's Game. Batteries not included.
Take out his spirits for $100. Oh, you'll never do that. Don't touch the side. Here goes his funny bone.
It takes a very steady hand.
I did it. That's $200 for me. May I play?
Operation, a Milton Bradley game.
Okay, a lot of people don't realize that this game was the cause of the creation of Hannibal Lecter. Okay, I mean, who would not want to really experiment on somebody now to see if that's exactly where that bone is,
Yeah. Now the funny thing about this game was, let me give you the history of this. Okay, and I'm making this real quick.
I just gave you the history of it. It is the creation of Hannibal Lecter. Okay.
Okay. This game was created, in 1965 by an industrial design student. Okay. He sold it to a game designer for $500 plus a promise of a job. Okay.
Wow.
The contract was never fulfilled because the kid never got the job. Okay.
Okay.
Now, they made lots of versions of Operation. Okay. Now, all right. So, one of the things that I loved about this that was in the 1990s, and I gave it to a friend of mine as a gag gift, was they got rid of the guy and they put an alien there.
Oh, really?
So you could do your own alien autopsy.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Okay. I saw a Simpson version where you were working on Homer.
Don't.
Yeah, exactly. So they did lots of versions of this game. okay? But the basics of this game has not really changed since the 60s. You know, and it's still a very popular game. You
Yes,
go
it
into any
is.
toy store and you can still see it on the shelf.
I love it. Operation is just one of those iconic games, and I'm sure there's a Games Hall of Fame somewhere. I'm sure this is in it.
Yeah. And like I said, I mean, the fact that this game has been around, you know, as long as it has just amazes me sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Jennifer obviously has played the new one. They made it. I mean, that's if you had some sort of shaking illness or whatever, that's the challenge right there. But
well, not only that, but it also, I mean, some of the earlier games were talked about what we call gross motor skills, which are bigger ones. This was a fine motor skill tester, and you know, you get a couple of you get a couple of drunken people trying to do that. Boy, that just is not going to happen. One of the legs is interesting is you have to hook a rubber band around some stuff, you know?
Yeah. I just remembered, I think, actually being able to plug things into an electric outlet, because that's actually what that game needed. You know, plugged in. I say, Mommy, can I go play
the damn outlet? Buzzing? It needed to electrocute you.
Right. Right. But yeah, it's a great game. It's a classic. It's got to be in the Games Hall of Fame somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, this is another one. This is a toy. Just because I liked it, it was cool, but it was hard to operate, and you'll see when you run the clip.
All right, here we go.
This is the Green Machine. Green Machine. 8, 9, 10 years old enough for Green Machine. A racer for guys who like a ride that's really fast. Stick-shift controls, swivel action rear wheels, twist, turn, and spin like wild. Green Machine. What a ride. Yeah. Green Machine with stick-shift steering, some assembly required. Green Machine by Marx.
This pissed me off. It pissed me off. You know why?
Why?
I was too old.
Same here.
I was too big.
Yep. Same here. Now, the problem I always had with it was the steering. Okay. Let's be honest. Green Machine did nothing but attempt to ride the coattails of Big Wheel.
Yes. And that's what I had. I had a big wheel. Yeah.
We all had Big Wheel. But the thing was Green Machine with the levers was real hard to steer. You know, you really couldn't steer that until you were older and understood how it all worked. And it was also really small for pedaling, you know?
Yeah.
So
sorry about that. I thought I had the images are misnumbered. So
oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't have this one. Be tearing up the driveway. I'm telling you. And
if you were on the right road, Big Wheels in this were great because you'd go down the road really fast and then you'd jam the turn and you do a spin.
And here comes the garbage truck.
Yeah. And what was interesting though is on Big Wheel, the later Big Wheels, because there were so many people wanting to do the spin and couldn't do it, and then they would flip over and kids would tumble. They put a brake on the back wheels to do the spin. You know?
Yeah. I know the brakes were always on the front wheel of the Big Wheels, of course.
No, they were on the back side, on the back ones, right by you.
On a Big Wheel?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I know on that. Never had a Green Machine. Yeah, I think we were too old, but
I thought it was, Mike, but don't worry about it, okay? Don't fret, okay?
Yeah, never. Yeah, don't worry about it. No big deal.
Mike, you did a great job giving us pictures.
Yes, you did.
You do that every time.
Yes, you did. You did a great job. Just don't do that again. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so now we come to this one.
Yes.
This game, all right, I don't know if you knew this, Mark, came out in 1948.
What? How is that possible? Are we talking about the same thing?
Yes. Go ahead and run the commercial.
What? He might have just been... No. Wow. Okay, here we go.
When I helped design my line of AMF Roadmaster wheels, I said make them red, white, and blue to bear my name, Evel Knievel. You can see they're built solid, flashy, and hip, and the bikes come with these safety tips that bear my name. Evil Knievel. So if your kids are thrilled, I know just how they feel. These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evil Knievel.
Hey,
One of the best
I was wrong.
commercials.
Look, I was wrong.
Okay.
I skipped one. Okay.
Yeah, this was the one that you had problems downloading, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was.
And I found actually a better clip, clearer, and
Yep.
had no problem. So you scared me there for a minute when you said
I
1948.
skipped this one by accident. Look, Evil Knievel was at the height of the popularity in 1976, okay? His best jumps had been behind him, but he was still showing up on ABC Wide World of Sports.
Yes.
You know, he'd jump 14 semi-trucks, you know. You know,
he jumped them doesn't necessarily mean he landed.
Oh no, he hardly ever crashed when they were on ABC Sports.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
He had done the Caesar's Palace fountain back in the late 60s, which made him his name. He did a whole mess of things, and at the end of his career was basically the Snake River disaster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which I watched live.
You and me both.
Watched it live.
Now, there was, just as a side note, there was Evil Knievel wanted to originally jump the Grand Canyon. And the Park Service went, no, not going to let you.
Exactly.
And so he did Snake River, which I don't even know where that's at, but he bought a whole mess of land in case something happened. And he couldn't get the rocket rights to it because the government was all afraid that those, the knowledge of rockets would go to the Ruskies.
Right.
So he made a steam engine rocket. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
So what happened was he had it on a ramp. He got into it, and it looked like something right out of science fiction. And the moment he got away from the ramp or whatever, the parachute deployed. Now a lot of people believed. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I think Jennifer is commenting on Knievel's bones. Okay. That came out of the blue, so had to be about Knievel's bones.
Yeah. So in 1976, his thing. Not only does Evil Knievel toys come out, which we all played with.
Yeah.
Okay. There was also these bikes. Now these bikes were actually pretty sturdy. You could make your own ramp. I don't know how if you did. You get a piece of plywood, a couple of bricks. And
I had a Knievel toy. I had that bike. I had that motorcycle.
Okay.
And you're right. You could kill somebody if you threw it at them.
Yeah. But the bicycles that he's advertising here were really solid.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, I watched buddies of mine that had it do the ramp things, and you get those ramps pretty high up sometimes, the jump. And, all of us would be playing Evil Knievel until, one of the kids got his head bashed.
I have to say, I think that was really an Emmy-winning performance on commercials on that Evil. In fact, if you don't mind, I have to play this one more time. I'm sorry, because I want to be one of the background girls in this, so bear with me for a sec.
When I helped design my line of AMF Roadmaster wheels, I said make them red, white, and blue to bear my name, Evil Knievel. You can see they're built solid, flashy, and hip, and the bikes come with these safety tips that bear my name, Evil Knievel. So if your kids are thrilled, I know just how they feel. These wheels are real exciting and bear my name, Evil Knievel.
It's Emmy-winning. It's Emmy-winning. I'm telling you, man. Woo! It's Emmy-winning.
In 76 and 77, when these came out, everybody wanted them.
Yeah.
All the guys I knew wanted them because it was Evil Knievel.
Yeah. They were
No one
awesome
wanted
bikes.
to be Evil Knievel.
Awesome bikes. Woo! They're awesome bikes.
Okay.
All right. Getting down to the last couple.
Yeah, go ahead and run this last one. This one here, number
let's
15.
make sure it's the right one.
Number 15.
Yes, got it. Love the game. Knocked out a lot of Transformers in the neighborhood, okay?
The Jets and Browns, the Chiefs and Colts, the Giants and Bears, the Vikings and Packers, the Rams and Cowboys, NFL, electric, football. You start the action with two complete teams like the Rams and Cowboys in their own colorful uniforms. NFL Electric Football by Tudor.
Fake news. My room should have been shaking. Just if that commercial was played properly, I would be shaking my chair right now. But they didn't even turn the sound up on this damn commercial because I remember that game very well.
Yeah. What was interesting about that game was like I said, 1948. Okay, it's a vibrating platform, and if you looked at the thing had a little tiny magnet just to hold it semi in place, and it had these like brushes on it to help it move. And sometimes the guy supposedly holding the ball would be vibrated and turned around and go the other direction. And there were stories about some of the very early games, especially from the 60s and the 50s, of kids getting electrocuted by these games.
Ooh. It was all metal. It was a freaking metal surface,
Yeah, and it this is the game that, and every kid that I know that had it loved to play it, but when you wanted to play it with them, they're like, "Oh no, it takes too long to set up."
Yeah, yeah. Well, you did have to set up your men. 11 teams, 22 characters. You had to set up on that deal before you turn that sucker on. But I just remember the noise that it made.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I never got to play it because every kid I knew that had it was like, no, I can't. My dad won't let us. Said we could die if we did it wrong.
Yeah, Super Soccer. How about that?
Wow.
Huh? Over in Ireland, yeah, because they didn't have football, so Super Soccer.
They call it football, but
well, they have football, which is true football.
So this was an interesting game, and this was one of those expensive ones. You could tell who had money by who had this game.
Yeah, I had it, but it's not because we had money. I don't know how we got it. I was a kid, and I was under the tree for Christmas, and we saw that big freaking box, ripped it open, and we just saw the picture on the outside, and we were just didn't care about anything else under the tree.
Exactly. Okay, now this last one, there's a story to be told on this last one.
Okay.
And go ahead and run it. And
I got an A and a B.
You got an A and a B?
Yeah. Why? Or was that my doing? I don't think it was. Hold on, Jerome.
Number 16?
Say again.
Number 16?
Yeah. Stand by real quick. Stand by. Here we go. Here. Let's see what I got. Here's your file. Videos. Yes, I have an A and a B. Now, let me look at this.
I'm surprised.
I added the B.
Okay.
This was supposed to be a surprise to you. I did a great job on that one, didn't I? Okay. Wow. Okay. So we'll play your A, but I'm going to go right into the B afterwards too. Okay.
All right.
Here we go.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got the best for so much less. You really flip your lid. From bikes to trains to video games, it's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz! I don't want to grow up, 'cause baby, if I did, I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. More games, more toys. Oh boy, I want to be a Toys R Us kid. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't want to grow up.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
They got the best for so much less.
You'll really flip your lid.
From bikes to trains to video games, it's the biggest toy store there is. Gee whiz! I don't want to grow up, 'cause baby, if I did,
I couldn't be a Toys R Us kid. Once a Toys R Us kid.
always a Toys R Us kid.
About that, buddy.
I've seen that one. Yeah, that's great.
How about that? That was
okay. So since we were talking toys and games, I felt we needed to talk about Toys R Us. Sadly, Toys R Us went bankrupt. Where are my notes here? Bankrupt in 2018. They got sold and bought out by Bain Capital, by a leveraged buyout, by one of those funds. And basically, they ended up closing almost all their stores. They are still around, but they're a much diminished brand. Toys R Us was the place at Christmas time that every kid wanted to go to. They were a treasure map of the childhood. They were indeed, Jennifer.
And in the newspapers, especially the Sunday newspapers, which was always the thickest edition of the week, they would have the Toys R Us, paper catalog or whatever, real thin, and that was the first thing I went after.
We all did.
It was getting close to Christmas. It was time for me to give, Santa or my mom my list, and I went through that catalog just to see, and I just would choose from one week, choose from another week, all the way up until it was close to Christmas, and say, "Oh my God, they got G.I. Joe figures! Oh my God, Johnny Quest!" Ah!
I mean, you would study this like you were planning D-Day.
Yes, it was important.
And like Gwen Reese, before it went under, Gwen would like circle which ones she'd want and just hand me the catalog and go, "Here, Daddy, this is what I want."
Same here. It's nice to know that it was passed down generation to generation, because that's the same exact things that we did.
Before the Toys R Us catalogs came out, there was the Sears catalog.
Yes.
But when Toys R Us came out, it was like, that's it. Now, Toys R Us, when they declared bankruptcy, said that the problem was that they were getting competition from Walmart and Target. Now, I can tell you, when Toys R Us went under, okay, and they did their closing sales, their liquidation sales, I talked to a number of employees at 2 different Toys R Us, because I got a whole mess of things. I'm not going to deny I didn't go and buy toys. Okay,
of course, that is what we did.
They basically, I asked them about it, and they basically said, look, when Bain took over, they cut the people who knew what they were doing in Toys R Us. They brought in a lot of teenagers for minimum wage. They didn't have any of the high quality stuff anymore. They just got the cheapest junk they could get, and it was the employees felt it was a total mismanagement of all the company. They even got rid of managers who knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a shame, but no buts. It's just a shame.
I mean, you could find obscure toys that hadn't been around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved walking. Every mall had a Toys R Us.
No, they had a KB toy. Every mall had a KB Toys.
You're right. It was
Toys R Us
KB.
Was
it was KB Toys. Yes, it was KB Toys. Toys R Us was a standalone building. So,
and KB Toys, though, they went bankrupt about 20 years before Toys R Us, and they got all the stuff that had been returned that people didn't want to buy.
I still love walking into a KB Toys.
Oh, yeah.
I really love KB Toys when that was around.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yes, of course, Jeffrey the Giraffe. Joe went, remember? Yes, Lionel Toys. Yeah, of course.
I have Lionel trains downstairs at the moment.
Yeah. KB, yes. Yeah. Hey, man, this was great. Any final words?
Just, play your toys. We're going to do another one of these, I guarantee you, because I've already seen hints already as to stuff. Kara's even told me about some of the games and toys that she played with as a kid. So we are going to do another one of these because, quite frankly, the commercials were just as important as the cartoons. And in some cases, depending upon the cartoon you were forced to watch, Smurfs, they were better than the cartoon.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday morning cartoons is not just always about cartoons. It's about our youth, and our youth included toys and games. Much of what we talked about today, and this is what we refuse to let go of. We don't want to say, hey, I'm a grown man now and I can't be playing with toys. Why not? Why can't you? Of course you do. You're going to have to lay down and play with your kids, and they're going to probably be those same games that you played with when you were a kid. So this never goes away as long as you live. And we try to remind you of the best times of your lives. This is what we do. This is our show. Great job on this show, Jerome.
Thank you.
And of course, there's multiple parts. Part 1, part 2, part 3, part 3. We can go on forever talking about all kinds of toys. But at least this is another show that's a catalyst for things that you remember, such as Slinkies, one of the most dangerous toys in the world, knackers, lawn darts, all the kind of stuff that'll kill you. But we're not the current generation. We know better. We know better. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree, Joe. Games I've never heard of before. Thank you, Mary. Thank Jerome on that. He did a great job on this. We will always be Toys R Us kids. Absolutely. And it's interesting how we can say that in a crowded room in a mall, and there's always going to be a generation that doesn't know what the hell we're talking about.
You know, if you go into a mall that's still open and start singing really loud the Toys R Us jingle, I guarantee you there are other people start singing with
They'll
you.
start joining in. I could sit on a subway train and I can start whistling, and people will start joining in with literally the lyrics, because this was the best times of not just our lives but anybody's life. This is 60s, 70s, 80s. We grew up during an era where we still had cartoons on TV, and with cartoons come commercials. So there's a lot of things that we remember from our youth and from our early teens and from our late teens that never goes away. And we sing and we hum and we applaud and we clap and we cry because those times do not exist anymore. We don't have Saturday morning cartoons anymore. And we do this show just to keep it alive, just to keep it real, just to make you guys remember what you probably forgot about. Okay, so this is us. This is what we do each and every week. We have great co-hosts that come in occasionally and talk about things that we totally forgot. They remind us because we can't remember everything. It really is up to you guys to remind us, to help us remember, because it didn't come into our brain. We just totally forgot. So this was great, Jerome.
Thank you.
Please join us next Saturday when we'll have another version of Saturday Morning Cartoons. This is our 5th year. Can you believe this? I can't believe it. It's our 5th year.
I want a pay raise.
You got it. I will double what you're getting currently.
Okay, great.
I'll do this. But over 5 years, we have not run out of material. Can you believe that? We have not run out of material, and we still have things in our mind right now we want to talk about that we want to bring to the forefront. So you guys, thank you very much. Great weekend to you, Terry. I know it's about 5 or 6 hours ahead of us over where you live. Appreciate that. Thank you, sweetheart Jennifer. Waiting for your show, Jennifer. Anything but Smurfs, because I'm majorly anti-Smurfs. They're evil. Those aren't for children. No, they're demons. You know, they're blue demons. So
many jokes, so little time.
Oh my God, we have lawn darts over here. We don't even have lawns. You know, they throw them into the asphalt. I don't know. Thanks, Mike. You did a great job as usual.
Yes, he did. Thank you, Mike.
Once again, we'll go ahead and say goodbye to you guys, and we'll see you next weekend. Love all of you. Nice to have friends. Bye.